Reddit by Reddit recap. Normal Redditors that dated a celebrity. What was it like? My wife's aunt ducked David Hasselhoff 30 odd years ago. She worked in the television industry. She is now a lesbian lol. He hassled her whore a little too hard. Old English teacher is good friends with Serj Tankian, lead singer of System of a Down, and she always talked about having coffee with him, and I'm still jealous to this day. Did she have chop suey with him too? Why'd I'll ever thekis upon footable? Yawinted me. But my aunt dated Matthew McConaughey before he was famous. He ended up getting invited to her wedding to my normal uncle. And proceeded to pass out drunk in the back of my family's car. He refused to leave. And now my dad refuses to watch his movies. He said in an interview that he kind of cleaned up his act in an effort to make it. I guess it worked. Alright. A friend of my aunt's dated Shel Silverstein for a bit. Apparently he was a bit of a dong. Have it on very good authority he was creep. Not said authority. But friend of mine has an unpublished poem of his. He was in a coffee shop writing like crazy on a legal pad. Crumpled the paper and threw it away. She grabbed it out of the trash. There was a poem on the front and back. My mom lived in Key West in the early mid-80s. She dated Sting for a while. He had a really nice yacht and they went on a sailing trip, during which he realized my mom is psycho. She is. He ended it right after. Sometimes to duck with my dad I'll start singing Roxanne or Message in a Bottle. I always imagined Sting had a nice yacht. Sting had the nice yacht. Mom had the nice yacht. My friend's aunt went on a blind date with Gerard Butler. Circa 300, the movie. Not the year. There was a big miscommunication. Because he was looking for a hookup and she's a kindly French Canadian woman in her 50s. But they both had a laugh about it and enjoyed supper with each other. She said he was very kind. And very muscular. So what the duck happened? Did he clap cheeks or not? Who would say no to Leonidas? I mean, just look at those iron buns in 300. There was a big miscommunication. Because he was looking for a hookup and she's a kindly French Canadian woman in her 50s. Got news for you, son nephew. My aunt was in an off-again on-again relationship with David Bowie. She was probably about 20 years younger than him. But he first saw her at a party in LA and a woman came up to her and asked her if she wanted to meet David. He would put in her shoes and dance around. She said it was very sad to watch him throughout the years as he became addicted to cocaine. She was also on the 1980 Playboy cover with Steve Martin. They went out for drinks a few times after that and said he was mostly shy and very quiet. She had a signed copy from him that said "Thanks Amy." For you know what. Was she the woman on the left or the right? My mom dated Keanu Reeves back in high school. She broke up with him because he was too focused on his band with his friends at the time. If only. Hooked up with a chick who was in a soap opera a few times. Didn't know it at the time but recognized her when I was at my grandmother's and she had her show playing. Hey grandma. That's the girl I ducked the other day. That's nice, honey. Uncle hooked me up to see Foreigner in 1981. Including 2 backstage passes. I took a girl I really liked but she ended up meeting Mick Jones and disappearing with him into a dressing room. I didn't see her again that night. So I guess you could say I got ducked by Mick Jones. Edit. Her side of the story was that she went with him into another room where people were drinking and smoking. And he ignored her after that. She said she stayed there 20 minutes. Then left and couldn't find me. And I had ditched her. So just to be clear. I'm not accusing Mick of doing anything inappropriate. That's her story and her mother believed it enough to call my mother to complain about it. So yeah, that's what must have happened. I feel that pain. Had a similar experience with a girl but I would have felt better if it was someone famous lol. Have a friend whose great-great-grandma was in a relationship with Joseph Stalin. Edit. She ran off to America with another man. If her family is still around, the breakup couldn't have been too bad. Your whole family shot. All your wizard friends shot. Anyone who sold you pierogi shot. Cool mustache. Wario. Few years ago I was getting on a flight back to San Diego after my cousin's wedding. I was very hungover and judging people as I walked to my gate. I see this long-haired man stride by me in a purple button-down and think, who's this cupcake? Not a sexuality comment, just a shirt color comment. As he walks by I realize, holy shit, that's Fabio. A bit later, after getting a snack, my brazen and probably still drunk self saw him sitting at his gate and just sat down next to him. I look away, then right at him and say, "You're Fabio," and he says so coolly, "Yes I am," and shakes my hand. We proceeded to talk for 30 minutes until he had to leave. He was so intelligent. Discussed cancer therapies in depth. And I recall thinking, just nod and smile, Fabio is way smarter than you, just nod and smile. Before leaving he asked for my number and texted me the next day for a date. Nothing ever came of it, but I still have his number in my phone. Ps, my dad followed up 4 weeks to make sure I wasn't dating the man on every romance novel cover. I was very hungover and judging people as I walked to my gate. Oh man. I feel this in my soul. My aunt was married to Van Morrison briefly. Here they are together on this album artwork. No interesting stories that I could remember. They were in love, but he was always gone, so it didn't work out. I was told that he would play guitar for the fam on Christmas get-togethers. This is the first post I've been able to figure out who's behind the magic door. Your aunt was married to him during his most epic phase, so she's not unknown to fans of a certain age. Thank you for sharing. That dog is huge. Dated for any of these stories, but semi-related. My mom went to a party with Janis Joplin. She said she was wild, funny, but crude, and smelled like she hadn't showered or brushed her teeth in weeks. Janis Joplin died not long after. I went to university in Westchester, PA. Seeing Bam Margera, Ryan Dunn, and crew was a relatively common sight. The first time I saw them was the same night I got a call from my parents telling me that my family dog was put down, very old, very sick. My friends took me out drinking and we ran into Bam and crew. Bam asked why I was down, and when I told him, he bought my drinks for the rest of the night. I went out bar hopping with them a few times after that. They were nice, but wild. Could never quite prepare myself for a night out with them. Ryan was as kind as could be and absolutely hilarious. My grandpa also told me he had partied with Janis Joplin. All he really said about her is that she was really weird but duckin' cool, and that it's a shame what happened to her. My friend's sister-in-law was out jogging when some other random dude came up and jogged with her and talked with her about random stuff like the movie being filmed nearby at the time for a bit. After a bit of that, he said, "Oh, by the way, I hope you like the movie." They were filming The Force Awakens and she only realized later that it was Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford is the only man in the world that can do to me whatever he wants. What a gorgeous guy. A college roommate's cousin, I believe, went on a date, maybe multiple dates, with Armie Hammer before he blew up in the social network, and apparently he forgot all about the date. They went on, and when he tried to reintroduce himself to her at another encounter, she said something along the lines of, "I know, we used to date. Pretty sure the guy is married now." Maybe it was just his twin. Leggy Mallet. One of my former best friends owns a luxury condo in Vegas, and Armie Hammer owns the condo right above hers. She has had to talk to him on multiple occasions because he likes to throw cigarette butts from his patio, and they land on hers. In the 3 or 4 times she's spoken to him, he's never remembered who she is. Seems like his memory isn't exactly the best. Aunt went on a date with Jimmy Buffett. She said he picked her up, stopped at a gas station, bought a jar of pickles, and then drove to the beach. They ate pickles and he took her home. Little did she know he went on many dates like this, slowly eating each of the components of a cheeseburger on each subsequent date. All you can eat burger ingredients. A burger buffet, if you will. Probably too late for this, but about 15 years ago, when the show The Simple Life with Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie was popular, I made out with Paris Hilton at a nightclub in Baltimore. Essentially, They were filming them doing all sorts of random jobs around the country and staying with local families, all for the culture clash laughs. One of those families ended up being my friend and her family. Being a close friend and a well-known admirer of Paris at the time, I was invited over and got to hang with her and Nicole Richie a good amount while they were in town. Both of them were super sweet and a lot smarter than they played for the camera. Paris was a great kisser and this story is always a hit with my friends. A few months later, her phone was hacked and nudes were leaked. My number was in her phone book and I got spammed with prank calls from 4chan. Or something. I imagine it was a lot worse for anyone who was actually famous. Anyhow, basically lost total contact after that. But still a fun story. I don't think it's too late for the two of you. But I'm the same age as her. You gotta hurry. We're all nearing 40. My mom had a dinner date with George Clooney in the 90s. She didn't really say much apart from the fact that he's an interesting and charismatic guy, but she honestly didn't think he was going to blow up. My best friend's mom worked with him years ago. Their early 20s or college age-ish. He was a shoe salesman. She was security. Said he talked about wanting to act and get famous and everyone doubted him, but he was always nice to everyone and a likable guy. Said he always talked about wanting to act and get famous and everyone doubted him, but he was always nice to everyone and a likable guy. My wife and I took ballroom dancing lessons many years ago. The teachers, a married couple, said that in the 80s late 70s. They lived next door, or possibly a couple doors down, from Keanu Reeves, who was just a young boy at the time. Said he came over often to play with their son and often ate at their place. The lady said that he always said he was going to get into acting and become famous. And they would say, "Oh, okay. That's nice, dear. Lol." People always tell kids, "The sky's the limit. Reach for the moon. Because if you miss, you'll land among the stars. Dream big. Follow your goals, dreams." But people seem to end up going back on their words and then doubt creeps inside someone's personality. And that person, who might have actually been able to achieve their goals and make a difference in the world, ends up settling for security and complacency. It's saddening, really. I'm glad Mr. Reeves didn't let anyone else's opinion affect him to the point where he let go of his dreams. Best comment of the day. I don't know if it's a date or not, but I got away with this girl from my city. She's a quite known, and she's pretty, and has a good sense of humor. I hit her up a DM after I saw her at skate competition in our area. The conversation quite go well, and I ask her if I can go come by at her house, just wanna chill and watch some movies, and she's down with it. It happened 2 times in separate weeks, and after that we never met again because she moved out from another city, but we still text each other for some time. I really like her, and I wanna be with her, but time passes, she went cold, and we stopped talking, and this new year, first week of January, she came back to this city, where I live right now, and I hit her up again in DM, no slides, and I was reaching out to her for a dinner, and she said she doesn't wanna go out, followed by inviting me at her house. It went well afterwards. She ghosted me again till now. PS, don't know what to do. Am I simping so hard? Open bracket open bracket.